Hey friends, it is Monday morning. I am Beth with crochetrx. If you are new here, welcome. If you are not, welcome back. We are hitting the ground running for another week of market prep. I have a 2-day event this weekend. It is my first 2-day craft show in North Carolina. We have been here 5.5 years now. I have just done 1-day things. And so this is a Friday night, 5 to 10, and Saturday, 9 to 5, something like that, event. Our county did not have a county fair with rides and all that stuff this year. It only did the ag stuff. So people are saying that this is going to kind of take the place. So we will see. I have not been to this festival. It is really just up the road from me. It's called the North Carolina Poultry Festival. And it is in the park with the Guinness World Record, world's largest frying pan. So super close. I've been to the frying pan. I've been to the winery down the street, which we really love, Duplin County Winery. And I'm excited to see what this weekend is about. I know other dance studios do perform at this festival, including one of the girls that we were hanging out with the week ago now at our dance convention. So I am cautiously optimistic about this festival. It was a super cheap entry fee of only $25. And while the organizer doesn't seem to be completely on top of it, it took her quite a long time to respond to emails, quite a long time to get my payment from her post office box, their post office box for the business. And yeah, so however, it is a very well established event. So we will see how this goes. We sold a whole bunch of stuff a couple weeks ago at the church market. We sold things last weekend. We've got some serious restocking too. I have, sorry, I about my tripod here, a list of things. Elephants, I've made a bunch of my adoption kitties. Fish keychains I have not made. I've made some triceratops. I made those at the event at the dance convention. Loaf cats, as soon as I make a black loaf cat, it just sells. So I need to make a couple more black loaf cats because I had at least 2 sell last weekend. Chickens, I think I'm okay on. I could probably make more because it is the Poultry Festival. Axolotls, I'm okay at the moment. Our donuts, we're completely out of donuts. An owl, I have started making an owl here, and I will probably make one more. They're fairly quick makes for me. Brontosauruses, my little small brontosauruses, I'm down to 1. I sold like 4 at one of the recent events. My cheeky turtles, I'm all out of. My multicolored turtles, I have a few that I was able to do at convention, but I could use a whole lot more for the season. Possums, raccoons. My daughter is working on mice, the keychain chickens, mini stingrays, mini jellies, and that. Yesterday, I played seamstress and altered a solo costume for another dance mom and daughter. So they will be trying that on this afternoon. Hopefully it's what was needed and that'll be all good. Mom had also commissioned me to make a duplicate lovey for this teenager's childhood lovey. It's been well loved. The dog has gotten hold of it a couple of times, I've heard. So I made a duplicate for that. So not quite gonna show it yet. Hopefully I can soon. I think it might be a Christmas present. Coughing fit. My gosh, talking is hard this morning. It is the first Monday after time change. Did you get extra sleep? I did not get extra sleep because I was up the hour earlier. So this is why I have time to record on Monday morning, because I am so far ahead of my morning routine. So then tonight we've got dance. and we will see what I do as far as crochet versus work. And I will hopefully keep you guys a little bit better posted this week. I am feeling much better than I was last week, and so hopefully I can get a few more things done in preparation for this weekend. I did just place an Amazon order because the paper bags that I put purchases in, I am out of a couple of sizes. And then my adoption kits, the carrying boxes, I'm down to 2. So placed an order for those, a different adoption box for my mini puppies. And then the 4th thing was some socks to go under my daughter's tap shoes, because we've bought $250 tap shoes because she is well advanced in tap and taps out of the lesser quality shoes. But the shoes are much more rigid, and so as opposed to just having the slippery tights underneath, I've purchased some no show black socks to go underneath it, and hopefully that'll help pad for the rigidity of those shoes. All right, so I think we are caught up with where we are now. I've been able to put away some of the acrylic yarns from making that lovey. So while my crochet futon is still a hot disaster, I at least have a little bit more working area here. This is where all my projects get dumped. This is where everything gets dumped until it gets filed and put away. So I will keep plugging away at the owl. It is 8:16. My first patient is at 9. I'm a diabetes educator, and I talk to diabetes patients on the phone all day, reviewing their medications and all that kind of stuff. So there's no reason I can't finish this dude and maybe even get a second started. So that is it. I will catch up with you guys later. Hey friends, I am popping on here. It is Tuesday night. It is 7:12 in the evening, and unfortunately it is now dark again. So lighting is terrible, but I just hit 100 YouTube subscribers. I've been sitting here charting and working on a pet bed and watching Tammy Crochet Mompreneur and Crafty Mompreneur, Tammy at any rate, and commented on her 1 year of, lost my words, she's been monetized for a year. Commented on there that I am at 11 months and had not hit 100 subscribers yet. I've been hanging in the 90s for a while, and I've been at 98 here the past couple of weeks. And so then she said, well, tonight's your night. And then I've hit 100. So thank you to those who pushed me over that bump. I definitely appreciate it. It's nice to see the momentum keep moving. So I guess I can check in real quick here. So Monday I did finish the owl that I was working on, and I started a second one. I have not been, because it's super fluffy white, I don't tend to transport and take that with me. So I do need to finish that second owl. I then made almost 2 dogs Monday night. I didn't get the ears on the second one. I finished the ears on that second dog this morning. I then made another dog of the little puppies and made a bed, I made a black bed with my black dog. And then, so the bed just needs cut off and knotted and the ends looped in. And now I'm working on this bed because I've been making so many dogs. I am now out of the balance between the dogs and the beds. So that is that. I am working on some charts and stuff here in the car while I can. The cell phone reception is so stinking terrible in this town. I don't understand. It is a college town where my daughter dances. There is a university here, and the cell reception is awful. There's a tower right outside of town, but like, it's just a black hole. So that's that. We have Wednesday and Thursday, and then our big show starts on Friday. Looking forward to that. I may have also found an event for November 15th, which I had a cancellation. A PTA had told me that they were doing the event on that date, and I'd held it reserved. And then I went to message them, and they're like, yeah, we're not having that. Y'all gave me the date and told me you were finalizing details. So I may have found an event for the 15th now. So I think that is it for now. Thanks again. I've got a little celebration thing on my stories for Instagram, though by the time this video gets published, that story will be archived, but I'm super excited. I appreciate everybody, and I appreciate y'all hanging out with me as we crochet and do this together. Take care. Morning, friends. It is Wednesday morning now, and just getting ready for the day. Thought I would pop on, say thank you to everybody who is newly subscribed. I've gone up 30 subscribers since last night and having our conversation with Tammy, the crafty mompreneur. And then just little short introduction. I do my little intro at the beginning, but since we've got so many new subscribers, I am Beth. I am a mom of two. We live in North Carolina. We moved here 5.5 years ago. My husband was recruited and accepted a job right before COVID. And then the week we were supposed to come out looking for houses, the country shut down. And so it's been a bit of a rocky transition. 0 stars, do not recommend moving when the country is shut down. And so I've done craft shows since before my second was born. I don't exactly know what the time frame was. I just know that I was at a craft show when my OB called and said, you need to go to the hospital. You have failed your testing and we're inducing you tonight. So that's the benchmark I have. I'm a serial crafter. I really got started with kind of vinyl however many years ago, and then crochet has been my primary for about the last 4 years now, primary craft that I've displayed. And doing craft shows here in North Carolina, it gets us out of the house, it gets us to see new places, and gets us out of just our homebody routine. I work remotely. I am a nurse diabetes educator and health coach. So I don't have physical coworkers to hang out with. My husband does have the coworkers, but it's different. I don't necessarily hang out with the wives or anything like that. So my daughters do dance competitively, but so many of their group grew up together. The moms teach together at schools. The kids all go to school together. We homeschool. Both children are profoundly dyslexic. My soon-to-be 16-year-old is on target for where she needs to be, but it's still a struggle. And we have done really well with keeping out that social stigma and allowing them to flourish in their own capacity. It has not been easy. It has been a struggle every step of the way. I was very much a bookworm growing up. And so with any disability or change in what you envision, certainly there's a grieving process that goes along with that. My younger daughter is much more severely dyslexic, and the remediation and tutoring has not been as smooth as her older sisters. So it's taken us much longer. She's essentially 7th grade and reading at maybe a 2nd grade level. So we'll get there in their own time, but we definitely have a very different routine here. Working from home, I then supervise all the schoolwork and everything else. The crocheting gives me an outlet, a stress reliever, and at the rate I crochet, I cannot keep it all. So started selling it. And that was kind of our evolution here in North Carolina. As they reopened the craft shows following COVID and the different festivals, we then started doing that. So as I mentioned last night, oh, and the kids do participate. So my older one crochets. If you saw my yarn tour series, North Carolina had a yarn tour where they had a whole bunch of independent yarn stores participate, and we went around to these different yarn stores and supported them and learned about them. One of the yarn stores gave us a impromptu needle felting class, and so we've started needle felting some of our characters. My daughter's been needle felting the K-pop characters that she has been making. I do not showcase those because I don't want to be in trouble for them. So she's been selling those to friends, and then we will put them out at the live events, but they aren't on my shop. And I did I've done some shorts on them, but they weren't for sale or anything like that. And then my Halloween turtles, we needle felted the skeleton and the pumpkin. I'll see if I can't find a picture, and see if editing Beth can't find a picture and flash those up on the screen just as a refresher there. But then the little one does a little bit of crochet. She doesn't keep track of her numbers or the increases, decreases. So I tend to start a snake head, and then she can just do singles down the body. And so that is effective for her when she remembers. There's a little bit of executive functioning disorder with her as well. So we have to be very, very on top of things and keep up with what needs to be done. She does not do well with a list or a series of events. So that is that. And certainly if you have any questions for me, feel free to drop them in the comments. I would be happy to answer or do another video with more information about me. Since moving here, I have become very obsessed with the sea turtles. We have a sea turtle hospital about an hour away in Surf City, and I am obsessed with the sea turtles and the conservation of them. So sea turtles are my absolute favorite. Happy Turtle Crochet thankfully fills a lot of those gaps for me, and then I've modified some of her patterns to suit my needs and expand my turtle lines as well. So as far as some of the things that I mentioned last night, I finished the owl that I had started, and I have another owl here. This is quite simply a modified Woobles pattern. I do love the Woobles. I am an hour outside Raleigh. I'm halfway between Raleigh and Wilmington in North Carolina, and the Woobles are a Raleigh area small business. And while they don't, I'm well past the Woobles as far as needing their crochet tutorials or anything like that. They are still just a great small business, and they really helped me on my journey to crocheting. So this is a modified Woobles pattern that I then make my owls. And then another shout out to Tammy, Crochet Mompreneur. This is the dog pattern. I mentioned it before. It's right up here on my tablet. Let me find it so I can say who that is. Akasha Toys. It is the Tiny Puppies Crochet Pattern and Bed Tutorial, designed by Vutvari Akasha Toys. Let's see if I can't get that up here. So, this is on Etsy. So I've sold a couple of those. I've been making them. I pretty much have some of the basic pattern memorize. There are multiple different ways for doing the head with the nose and the head. Then there's multiple different ear styles, floppy, triangles, bigger triangles. And so I've been making lots of puppies and then lots of beds. So this guy just needs knotted off and then the ends hidden on that. The green bed I was working on last night during my dark video is completed. So as I made a number of puppies last weekend at our event and maybe one dog bed, but with making 3 more puppies here, I am out of proportion for my dogs versus beds. I have some new boxes coming today. So I have adoption kits. I have an upright loaf cat by Beth that I have been putting in little boxes. They're essentially gift bags with a clear front. And I just choose the ones that fold over the top so the handle clamps together and then the ends clip on. Similar to what you would get if you were getting a pet from Petco or picking up chickens from Tractor Supply. It's that kind of box concept. So my upright adoption cats have been super popular the last couple of years, but I just hadn't made them for a while. So I had been down to 1 cat, and then as I allow people to create their own adoption kit for an upcharge, I've been selling out of the extra beds and these boxes. So I was down to 2 boxes out of the first 30 or whatever that was that I'd bought. So that 30 lasted me, has it only been 1 year? Maybe it's only been 1 year. And so I got more of those, which are quite tall because they fit my large adoption cats. They don't fit the loaf cats super well, but it works. And then for the puppies, I just bought some smaller little boxes, which are cheaper. So the tall ones end up being about $1 per box. And that is included in my prices. I have a very robust pricing calculator that my husband built. He is an engineer and is all the wizards with spreadsheets. I just fill them in. I can do a basic formula. I don't reference anything extra. He does all that. So he pulls all these things. We have we then take our end of the year and determine our average mileage per event. To add that in, we determine our average cost for the booth at each event and add that in. We then have our tagging and just like selling things in there. So each paper tag, each safety pin that attaches the paper tag, it is all accounted for in this spreadsheet. Then we've got all of our material costs in there as well. So I weigh everything. I weigh the yarn, I weigh the fluff, and we also have things such as the safety eyes in there. And depending on the size of the safety eyes, depends on the cost, whether it's 2 cents or 4 cents per eye. So all of that is in there, and it is a very robust calculator. And then in addition, our time. The children get paid 1 fee per hour because they essentially take twice as long as me. And then I get paid the other, essentially double theirs. So it comes out to be the same cost. It's just that their time takes twice as much. And then they do get paid for the items that they sell. So my younger daughter gets credit for all the silicone bracelets, cup charms, accessories. She also gets credit for the earrings because she's the one who does the hardware on the earrings for the epoxy earrings that we make. And she does the hardware for our keychains and kind of miscellaneous stuff between our keychains and our epoxy shakers. I recently started I've got one here. This one's mine. Recently started making little epoxy shakers. So these are fluid filled. This one is very, very full. So it doesn't shake quite as nicely as some of the others that have a bit of a better air bubble in there. This was, I think, the first one I made, and it's just like my favorite. It just came out so perfect. But I did a whole line for Halloween because I thought they would be more popular, but they just haven't been. That's fine. So I've got some Christmas ones that need to get finished up and get the keychains put on them so that we can start bringing those to shows. I will probably still bring my Halloween ones because some people love the spooky all the time. I just won't display them quite as prominently. So that is where we are at. My daughter last night with our adoption kits, I also had ran out of my adoption certificates. So, oh, this one's got, I wonder if that's glue. Got some extra junk on the white kitty's face. Not cool. I'll have to double check these. So she attached our cardstock to our white cardstock, printed cardstock to the color cardstock. So now I'm back up supplied on those. I think I had printed 8 sheets, so there should be like 16 more certificates. So I think we are getting about where we need to be. I also had to order more brown paper bags. I have a stamp that essentially my business logo, that we stamp on the paper bags. That was, for sales. That's what people get. And I was out of a couple of sizes. And with our 2-day event coming up this Friday and Saturday with the North Carolina Poultry Jubilee, I wanted to make sure that I had enough supplies for all of this. So as far as the list I had made a week or 2 ago, I've not made any elephants. I did make the upright adoption cats. I've not made any more fish keychains. I am stocked up on triceratops. I do still need to make some black loaf cats, as I mentioned. Every time I can make a black loaf cat, it just sells. So I sold 2 more this last weekend. So I need to pull out my black Barnett, which I'm starting to get kind of low on actually, and make some more black loaf cats. Chickens, I have not done anything with chickens. Chickens would be very easy for me to do at the event if there's lulls. So those are pretty mindless for me. And as long as I bring, the right yarn, I can whip through those at the event. Axolotls, I am stocked up on. Donuts, we have not done anything with donuts. Whether just the plain donuts or the character donuts. I do have the book of character donuts. It is up on my shelf there. I can't even pull it to show you here. But there is a book of patterns for animal donuts. So that, the owls, I've got that second one that I need to finish. Brontosauruses, I have not done. I was a pattern tester for that quite a while ago. Those sell in spurts for me. I had 5 for just the longest time, and then I sold 4 over the course of 2 shows. So I'm down to 1. So those are something that I can make. My cheeky turtles, I am out of. Haven't touched those. My multicolor turtles, I made a couple, but can definitely make more. I mentioned last week that I had a custom order for NC State colors, and so I had made a red and black one. So that might be something for me to think about, is making some school colors for those going forward. As I said, I am not native North Carolina, so the whole sports team, and I'm not a sports fan to begin with, but I could much better tell you the Illinois team colors. So I will have to Google those. I know are they Pirates? That's purple. But I will have to Google those. Then I've got possums and raccoons on here as well, which I have not done anything with. I think Crochet by Jenna might have a raccoon in her book. I'll have to look at that. I'm not sure I have a pattern for either of those. I had freehanded a possum pattern for a friend 18 months ago or something. It was a grocery bag holder, so it would hang upside down on like a rod or a cabinet handle, and you would stuff the grocery bags inside of it. And she runs for St. Jude, and a number of that, we were part of that. She was a lovely little mother in our Peoria Reading Club for me. And their logo, their mascot for their St. Jude running team is this like half-dead opossum. Apparently at some point they hit an opossum on their, with the long St. Jude runs, you have like the escort van that all the other runners are in during their breaks when it's not their turn to run. And so somewhere along the way, a possum got involved in this. And so now they call themselves something and related to this dead opossum. So my possum makes cameo shots in the St. Jude runs. So that's a goofy Midwest thing. I don't know that they do the same sort of things out here. Certainly St. Jude in Memphis, and then running back to Central Illinois was a very big thing for the Midwest and Central Illinois for sure, because we had a St. Jude hospital there in Peoria. So that's my possum story. My daughter still needs to work on mice. Last Christmas, we had the sweetest little girl buy our 5-foot-long rainbow jumbo snake. And just the cutest little thing. Her mom made her do the talking. She would ask her mom questions. She's like, I don't know, you have to go ask her. And so the little girl would come up and she bought the snake. And then they came back a little bit later and they're standing outside my booth again, and mom's going, you really need to ask her. And she comes up, she goes, do you have anything my snake would eat? Oh my gosh. So we found a couple frogs for her. And so she bought these 2 frogs. And then we came home and started making snake snacks. So we have a basket at our events that is labeled snake snacks. So we have mice in there. We have a couple goofy mini chicken. We have a lizard. I think that kind of encompasses our snake snack buffet. So as people then get snakes, I ask if they need a snack for their snake. If they plan to feed their snake, here's some options. So it works as a really cute upsell, and the story, it's just so wholesome. I just love it. Because you have doll tea parties and you feed your dolls, and all your animals deserve to be fed, right? So I love it. I love telling that story. It is just the sweetest thing. So I think that catches us up. I'm not sure exactly what I will work on tonight. My eyes are starting to water. Not exactly sure what I will work on this evening while we sit at dance. With my daughter's competition dance, I end up sitting at the studio for something like 15 hours a week. We live a half an hour away, so by the time I would drop her off and drive home, that is then 2 hours round trip in the car. So I tend to bring my laptop and I work while I sit at the studio, although, as I mentioned, we are like in a vacuum and there is no cell service, like right there, even though there's a tower. I don't understand. And a university. But, so I'm not quite sure what I'll do there. I am working this morning. I've got patients all morning. I probably need to check the time. I should be fine. I sat down here just before 8. And then this afternoon, just basic household necessities. Our dogs are going to starve tomorrow. I mean, because we live so far away from everything, it ends up being a extra trip. So we have to go to Costco and get dog food in Wilmington, an hour away. So that is what I'm spending my afternoon once I get done working at noon, so that my poor fur babies will not starve. Dog and cat food. All the fur babies are gonna starve. So hopefully I'm not the only one that has to make these extra trips so their fussy children will not starve. But it is what it is. I will check in later and we will see what has been accomplished. Hey friends, so it is now Thursday evening. Today was my first day working the full day after time change, like working at home till the end of my day. And it was dark and I did not like it. It's so sad. But I need to catch you up. I just edited the rest of my footage for this week and it's getting kind of long already and we haven't even made it to the event. So we are going to catch up real quick on what I did last night and show you the boxes that came in. And last look at my Halloween nails. We're getting redone in the morning. Tomorrow is the first day of the 2-day Poultry Jubilee. And so I am looking forward to seeing how everything does. So I finished the second owl. I finished off the 2 beds. I now have equal dogs, 2 beds. I will probably still make a couple more if I can, just for color variety. I need to take note of what I have. I've got blues, purples, greens, and see about getting some other options here. Maybe some gray and just basic stuff. Then these are the boxes that came in. So they have a hole in the side that I can then, so it's a smidge smaller than what I would prefer, but it is small enough that puppy dog can peek out however far you want him to peek out, but he won't fall out. So this is good for my little adoption dogs. The other box that I have is a smidge longer, but it's like 10 inches tall and it's just too much for my little dogs. So this is what I've got then for our small adoption dogs. And it even came with stickers, so I can even put little cute dog stickers in with each box. So I got my red ones as well. Those are already set aside. I started the snake head for the younger daughter Saturday or Sunday. Today's the first day that she's picked it up. So I don't think the snake is going with us because he's not big enough. Otherwise, I need to, as I'm looking around here, I need to put my chicken nuggets onto keychains and sell these guys. We got a whole bunch made, and I just need to throw them on some keychains. I think that's it. I don't even know what. I got random pieces and parts. Some turtle appendage, apparently. So, I need to get everything tagged and the inventory updated for the things that we've made this week. I need to finish off my shaker, my Christmas shaker keychains. They've been sitting on the epoxy desk for a couple weeks. They just need the keychain part screwed in and attached to them. So that should be quick and simple to do. I then, like I said, have a nail appointment first thing in the morning, and then when we come back, we will be loading the vehicle. So that will be it for tonight. If you have stuck around this whole time, thank you. If you've been working on a project, let me know what you're working on in the comments. I would love to hear what's happening or what's, successful in your area. And we will then catch up later as I do the show vlog and recap. So look forward to seeing how this goes. Take care.